Right, okay, so obviously there's this thing where they get the Jed Skeptic media. Now, I don't want tit for tat and bickering because at the end of the day, that's not what it's about. Now, these people continually try to make it about bickering, they continually try to misrepresent, they continually try to influence by emotional gestures and sleight of hand gestures with facial features and actions. Um, so as I say, it's not a tit for tat, but this Jed Skeptic, he's gave this response, which is great because then it gives me the opportunity to show you how people manipulate and try and sway, okay, by misrepresenting and talking fucking shit. So, let's see.
Right, so another person I'd like to address is my fellow Scotsman, Dell, beyond the imaginary curve. He made a video, a response video. I'll just skip to the bits that are relevant because
I will skip to the bits where I want to paint a picture. This is more like it.
He does kind of go off on one.
So as he's saying, kind of goes off in one, as if, I'm just just kind of goes off in one. Never mind what I'm actually saying. Jed's trying to influence you to say, he just kind of goes off in one, right? So he's using manipulation here. He's bringing emotion into it and trying to sway with emotional tactics.
It's funny because he says, he doesn't get emotional, forget emotions, but at the same time he's getting right worked up and.
Okay, so when I say forget emotions, this is another misrepresentation. So what he was doing is saying, I say forget emotions, but then you get right whipped up as if I'm a clown, right? He's misrepresenting, he doesn't understand where I'm coming from. The question is what shapes the earth? It's for natural science, it does not involve anybody's personality or emotions, testable, measurable proof. That's it. So, when I say don't use emotion, when people are trying to sway using emotional tactics, is what I meant. What I'm displaying is passion and frustration at the sheer idiocy of people like this, and the tactics that they use. So, when I say, it's not that I'm saying don't be emotional, because people have emotions, that's a fact of life. But when it comes to this question, it's about the removal of emotion, it's about the removal of human opinion. Okay? So, seriously misrepresenting here.
You can hear it in his voice, he's getting emotional. I'll go to one.
You can hear it in his voice, he's getting emotional, passionate, right? Of course I'm getting emotional, it's about a subject that's important to me, right? And this kind of behaviour is just frustrating. So
22 first.
What flat earth are you talking about? Because people have got this problem where they just lump flat earth as one thing. So, I'm not part of anybody's group.
Flat earth. You all say it's not a ball, so you're in that camp where you deny it's a ball and you say it's flat.
Okay, flat earth isn't just flat earth. Generalising this is an illogical fallacy. And notice that he says yous, meaning certain people say it's not a ball. So let's understand what Jed's stance is. Clear it up for us, Jed. You're referring to us like a group who say it's not a ball. What's your stance? Have you got any proof that it's a globe?
Flat earth. Maybe there's different versions of flat earth.
Yeah, there is. There's people who adopt models and stuff. But for me, I stick purely to facts, what I can test and measure and make rational decisions on that. So I quite clearly state many, many times that whatever the full dimensions are, it has to be able to contain the water, right? That's a fact of life, testable by every single person, including Jed Skeptic Media. Okay? So I'm in a position where I was brainwashed, indoctrinated with this belief that it was a globe for most of my life. I went and looked for proof, seriously looked for proof, because at the end of the day I believed I lived on a globe as well. Okay? No, there is none. What I've observed and tested tells me beyond a shadow of doubt it cannot be a globe. That's my stance. That's why I say full exploration. Okay?
There's the infinite plane. There's the ring of the ice wall that goes round. But at the end of the day, you just believe in a flat Earth.
Yous again, and believe. I don't have beliefs yet. Okay? So again, you're misrepresenting and trying to sway people by misrepresenting. Serious dishonesty.
Flat Earth, mate.
No, it's not. That's you saying flat Earth. No, it's not. Explain.
Your sky stuff, there's no explanation for the sun, your solar eclipse, the lunar eclipse. It's nothing to do with measurable curvature.
Well, in a way, you're right, but in a way, you're wrong as well. Because
let's just clear this up right now, okay, people? The question is very, very simple, and don't let people like Jed or anybody else confuse the question. The question is, what shape is the earth we are upon? It's natural science, observing the reality you're in. Okay? So, you do not get measurable curvature by looking at the sky. It's impossible.
if I seen a shadow of myself, or shadow of anything, a shadow of a three-dimensional object cast onto a wall, I would have a rough idea of what it was. I wouldn't see the details, obviously, because it's a shadow. And the angle, it might be distorted as well, because of the... But at the end of the day, there's a shadow of something.
Yeah.
Something three-dimensional. Like, flat objects don't cast shadows on themselves. It has to be three-dimensional.
I don't get what you mean, flat objects don't cast shadows on themselves. You put a fucking 2D object up on the side, it casts a shadow. I mean, what are you talking about here? It's like, you know, this desperate attempt to try and still cling on to this heliocentric model by coming up with nonsense and then trying to like rubbish people like myself who are asking for measurable curvature, because at the end of the day that's a claim, it's the earth you're upon, right? So,
to some degree. So you can sort of make a judgment on that. It might not be 100% correct.
No, a judgment is your opinion. Not interested in people's opinions. It's what's measurable, testable, repeatable. Okay?
But it gives you an idea of what it could be.
And your imagination.
So if you can get measurable curvature by explaining what happens with the sun and the moon, fair dues. But, you know, we live on Earth, not in the sky.
But that's another thing as well. If you were on a rocket looking down at Earth, and you seen the launch pads, you were just launching off. Looking out that window, you'd have a good idea of what you were in, because of the speed you were travelling, what you've just left. That's always the excuse that looking up at the sky or observing other things apart from the land, the terra firma, this doesn't seem to count.
I really don't get what you're talking about leaving on a rocket. I mean, what are you saying? You know, it doesn't count, Jed. You know, there is no measurable curvature by looking at the sky. For all these years, it's just the sky and the wandering stars. There is no measurable curvature. If you can give me a proof, right, for the shape of the earth by looking at the sky, please bring it. Not just your sway or your opinion. Bring it.
Like the sun, the moon, the stars, the sky, the clouds, everything doesn't seem to matter when it comes to the argument, but it does. It's all part of our reality where we live.
Of course it is. Of course it's part of the reality where we live, but that's what I'm saying to you. Obviously we can all observe these things in the sky. Where do you get the measurable curvature? Where do you get the proof for the shape of the earth you're upon? You know? Why don't you focus on things that you can test like water? People that you just keep ignoring these things in favour of the sky.
Well, if anybody can explain the logic of these sky observations and then shows measurable curvature based on the sky observations, I'm willing to listen. So,
No model, there's nothing.
right, I know there's no model. And that's the problem within flat earth, the adoption of models. And it's fine, people can play with hypothetics, but unless it can be proven, it's just a waste of fucking time, as we're going to get to in a minute.
Let's see. Candy. I'll do a wee bit.
Experiments. What's your solution then, Jeff? Huh? Do we just continue letting emotions fucking run the show? Huh? People's fucking dirty emotions running the fucking...
Fucking hell, man. Emotions running the show. Dirty. Oh my god. I remember my son. He's only 7.
Right, so as he's saying that, he's making reactions as if you're a crackpot, when it's just somebody with passion. Derpy, I got from the Badger groups because it's something they use. They would say derp. So, it just happened to come to me at that time. But Jed wants to now try and paint me because his child used it. He's going to now try and emotionally manipulate as if I'm childlike mind. This is what he's going to achieve here. This is what he's going to try and do.
Well, he said dirty, and I don't even know what it means. I still don't know what dirty means.
Neither do I.
Honestly. So I don't know if that's a word that you've picked up with your kids and it's hip and trend.
So now I picked it up off my kids and I'm hip
You
and
are getting
trendy.
emotional here, mate.
Yeah, of course I'm emotional, Jed, but I don't try and sway anybody with emotion. I stick to the facts. That's the point you're missing. Okay? What you and other people are up to is using ad hominems and trying to attack people and play on people's emotions the same as you're doing right here. You're trying to sway people by emotional manipulation.
So
it's just a matter of getting popular, huh? And then whoever's the most popular, it's their fucking dirty emotions that's fucking dictating what's happening. The reason I keep saying that is because it's an objective language, right? That we can all use, that nobody can tell lies with.
well, if you're saying my flat could be different from your flat, that's not a common language.
No, Jed, this is again, he's just trying to deflect and jump to stuff that's got nothing to do with it. Logic, reason, natural science is the objective language. Okay? Now, I've searched for globe proofs and flat proofs. There is only a small amount of things that are solid proofs. Okay? That leaves the question open, which for me requires full exploration. Okay?
You see to base everything on tested, measured and observed. And you're right, and like I said in my last video, to know what something truly is, the true shape or form or nature of something, you've got to be able to see it, measure it, weigh it, look at it. But like I said before, there's some things you just can't measure. There's just some things we've not got the capacity to measure. Like the ancients back in the day, they wouldn't have known that there's air everywhere. They can't see it. They wouldn't have they never had the capacity to measure that we're actually breathing in air and exhaling CO2.
Right, so now he's suggesting that we don't have the capacity to measure the earth, right? We're not talking about air. We're talking about the shape of the earth. He keeps trying to, divert away from the actual question, right? Which is the shape of the earth. So what capacity do we not have to measure that?
We never had that capacity. It doesn't mean it never existed. It just they never had that capacity.
Totally irrelevant.
Right? So, you're saying it as if it's a negative, which makes me very, very suspicious of you. You're either at...
You measure and see it.
Exactly.
But not everything is of capacity.
Well, what?
And see.
Like what? There's no one... What do you mean there's no one with capacity to measure, test and see? What are you talking about?
Well, just like I said there, Del, I used to be like you as well.
So here we go now. It's I used to be like you, as if this is another emotional tactic, another sway. I used to be like you as if he's progressed beyond me and I'm stuck somewhere, right? Jed, you haven't progressed anywhere, right? You're going round in circles.
Well, I never used to be like you, but when it came to the flat earth, I used to think on those terms, like logic and things like that. And that's why I don't debate anymore, because it's a faith-based system.
What's a faith-based system? Logic, reason and natural science is a faith-based system. You know? And you're using words like debate. Explain to me how you debate the natural world, Jed. Okay? You can make your observations of the facts of life that are there, and then the debate will come when people argue about how it got here, like religions and all these other things. Right?
Globe and flat. So you can argue it all day long.
I'm not interested in arguing. I'm more interested in facts, measurable, testable, repeatable. Okay? And you're right, you know? Flat earthers make so many claims that are unproven. The globe, so many unproven things with the globe. You know, and things that have been falsified with the globe. So what is your stance, Jed? Do you want to progress? You know, understand the language that I'm trying to use? You know, you've made this whole thing trying to misrepresent me, misunderstood me. You know, you don't even know that the whole backlog and the things I've been saying. You know, you've just taken a personal attack and it's like you're trying to score points, try and paint me in a certain light with people, which is fucking ridiculous. Stick to the facts. Go through my backlog and pick out anything that you want to refute.
And there is some things you just can't measure, mate. There is. And you need to be humble enough to admit that.
So now we're saying that you're suggesting that I'm arrogant and that I think I know it all, which I don't. Okay? But I know the subject and I know the language that's required for the subject. Okay?
Like, how many blades of grass are on this planet? Tell me.
Total diversion. Absolutely nothing to do with the subject. How many blades of grass is on the planet? What relevance is that? What kind of point are you trying to make with that, Jed? The fact of the matter is we can observe and test grass. You're just picking a nonsensical, non-rational thing to try and make a silly point. How many blades of grass is there? You know, who claimed anything about counting blades of grass? The guy's just trying to score points here because he's been called on the logic, okay, and what his contribution is to the discussion. And he feels threatened and attacked personally for some reason, when that's not the case. So it tells me guys like Jed don't have the capacity or the ability to separate their emotions from natural science.
How much water is in the ocean? Tell me. Well, we don't know. Can there's water?
Well, there is. I went and looked, and there's, you know, some astronomical numbers there. 352 trillion gallons or whatever. I don't know. I went and looked at it earlier.
Okay, there's the water cycle. It's evaporating. It's going into the clouds. It's raining. It's again. We know it's there. We know the sea's there. We know the water's there. We know the clouds are there. But we don't know how much water's there. We can't measure it. It's just impossible for us to do it.
Yeah, but we know how it behaves. We can test and observe it. Everybody can, and we know how it behaves. So again, your point's totally irrelevant and nothing to do with the subject. What shapes the earth, Jed? Know how much water's on it.
Same with the grass. We know it exists. We can pick it up. We can look at it. We can observe it. We can look at each blade. But we can't measure every blade of grass. We can't tell you every blade of grass on the planet.
Don't know what point.
It's not within our capacity. Just like I was saying before with the ancients, like.
But it's in our capacity to observe and test grass.
It just wasn't in their capacity to know like certain things. And I know what you mean. I know like physics, and you need to see it. But that's why the flat Earth it's just faith-based. It is. It's just faith-based.
What flat Earth is faith-based, Jed? You show me where my faith is. Because remember, you're talking about me here. And then you're trying to lump me in with faith and other flat earthers, generalising, you know. Get specific.
And it's dangerous to think like that about everything. Because, like you said, you play your guitar and there's abstraction. I'm an artist as well. I do all different kinds of art. I paint, I draw, I do graphic art, I do animation, I do videos, I try everything, I try anything. I'm a creative person. And you have to use some abstraction, some imagination, some fantasy. Sometimes you have to ponder and wonder. If everything was based on logic, fact,
Yes, in art, Jed. You know, but this is the point I'm making. People have not got the ability to separate the subjects. Natural science doesn't require imagination. Okay? Playing the guitar, creativity requires imagination, your emotions. But this guy keeps trying to make it out that, oh, I just want to be robotic with every single thing in my life. Misrepresenting again. Right? It's not who I am. It's not what I've been saying.
You're just a machine. You're just a machine. So this is what I'm trying to say to you, Dale. I'm not getting on at you. I'm just saying that I was there. I was in your and it sounds like
No, you weren't in my shoes, Jed. You've never been in this position because you wouldn't be acting the way you are now. You've not figured anything out. Okay? For me, you're ego-based and you're playing on emotion. And you keep trying to misrepresent me here.
you've got this tested, measured, and observed thing, and you just keep saying it, keep saying it.
That's what natural science is. So of course I'm going to keep saying it, right? I mean, what is this guy's game? You know, is there anybody out there who's going to deny what I'm saying? Really? You know, refute it properly. Natural science is what it is.
But it's like communism in a way. It's like they stop people going to the church, and it's like they stop people having a belief or a faith or being allowed to dream. We're allowed to dream.
So now he's trying to suggest that, like, I'm one of these people who's trying to shut that down. You know, totally ridiculous. People are entitled to believe and have whatever they like. When it comes to this subject, there's no place for beliefs and wishes and desires. It's the objective language, no subjective. Try and separate the subjects and understand them.
We're allowed to imagine. We're allowed to wonder.
Who said you can't?
It's beautiful. Everything isn't set in logic.
This subject
This is
is.
what I'm trying to say to you, man.
Huh? People are emotional, right? This question is set in logic. Even when you were learning how to play your guitar or your thing, you had to apply logic. You had to understand how it worked.
I didn't know how else to elaborate on it. But it was quite funny what Laurie was saying, and it would be some sight. But anyway,
Well, here's a wee thing for you, Jed. If you're a skeptic media and a truth seeker, why don't you come on film with me, Jed, and we'll have a discussion about this whole subject. You know, we're not far along the road for each other. You know, I'll organise the camera, get somebody to film it, me even pay for any expenses. Let's progress this discussion. You know, and sit face to face, man to man, and have a discussion. I'm up for that. Are you up for it, Jed?
hey guys, that was just a few things I wanted to get off my chest. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm glad I got my video back. Yes! Get it up, you steering the potato mechanics. They're going downhill. They are going downhill. Like I said, I don't know. I made a prediction. 2017, these jokers are going to be doing their own shows. Like I said in my previous vlogs, they're going to be pulling all subjects out their ass. Antonio's talking about painting. Nathan's talking about his gadgets again, which he began with before Flat Earth. He's started with audio cord or some crap like that. Patricia reading books. They were talking about video editing tutorials. God, there's millions of them. That's what I can go to guys that are professionals that do it, and they'll show you a tutorial. There's professional people out there that will show you how to do skills. Professional.
I don't know what he's going on about here. You know, it's back to this disdain and hatred or whatever the emotion he has towards these other people. You know, if people aren't bringing you logic, going through the content of these people, because remember, and don't let guys like this Jed or anybody else take you away from the subject. It's purely a natural science question. It's about the objective reality of the world that we're living in, right? all this focus on personalities and what they're up to in their private life and other subjects away from it, for me, it's got nothing to do with it, right? But it's this emotional attachment to these other people who, for a fact, Jed doesn't even know in person, right? You know, that people are doing this for videos on YouTube. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Paint. Not a Paint the Colours by Antonio. Anyway, guys, hope you have a great weekend. Chill out, Del. I've got nothing against you, man. And I know that video was against me, didn't it? Like you say, I pretended. I was pretending than the Kenyan name. I was just saying beyond the curve, just to wind you up, because I know that you were kind of pandering around Manny. So I was pandering.
There's no pandering around Andy's name, and you're no fishing trying to hook me in. I'm always going to deal with the logic, Jed, because that's the subject, right? And don't say calm down, because I'm not angry. I don't know you personally, right? But when you continually bring crap to the table and misrepresent and try and emotionally sway people, I'm going to have an issue with that, right? It's dishonest. I never done it to you, but you continue to do it.
Journey. And when I said the Wii subscribers, I knew that would annoy you too, because.
But it doesn't annoy me. Right? This is again, you know, I can niggle at his emotions. No, you can't, right? Because you're not in my personal life, right? I don't harbour any emotions towards anybody on here, right? That's what you're showing me is projection, right? Because you're operating for an emotional based level.
Sometimes I set a wee trap just to see the reaction. And I can tell a lot of your reaction, man.
Yeah, just like I'm reading your reaction right now. Like I set the trap, right? And you're exposing yourself because you're going round in circles trying to, I don't know. All I can see is that you're trying to paint me in a bad light for whatever reason, right? You're not offering anything to progress the discussion. You keep trying to move away from logic, reason, natural science. There I go, I'm repeating it again, because remember, people, that's the question. What's the objective truth of the shape of Earth we're upon?
I can tell a look at your reaction. And I liked how your kids sort of interrupted you as well. I can totally relate to that. That happens to me all the time. That's why I'm doing this at 22 in the morning, because my kid's constantly in and out, dad. And he's more technologically advanced than I am. Anyway, guys, hope you have a great weekend. Take care. Oh, by the way, check out Barbie McGill's new video. She's done a really good one on
Oh,
the
right
ISS.
right on cue.
Just check
the
it
wee
out.
man's coming in.
Hey, pal. You just woke up.
So, you know, that's it. As I say, this isn't bickering, because at the end of the day, I've got nothing personal about Jed or any of these other people. I can only deal what's there. Jed, for whatever level he's at, is still operating emotions and playing on that game, you know. What I've been saying to people is to separate the subject. No saying you can't have emotions. You know, I display emotions to my family, to people I know, to people I care about, you know, things that I'm passionate about. But, you know, real science is not about subjective experience. It's about the objective truth. That's how you progress technologically, okay, and further the understanding. So, as I say, if, you know, and calling yourself a skeptic, you know, for me, skeptic should be about logic. It should be about dealing with the facts and highlighting where the fake claims are and the false claims, right? So, if you would like to go and film, it would be great. I think it's something that would be worth doing, just to see how different people operate. You know, there's nothing threatening, you know. So I'm here, I'm involved in the subject. You're here, you're involved in the subject. I think it would be great. So, you know, as I say, these people will misrepresent and try and sway you with emotions. Okay? Don't let it happen, and don't let them away with it. I've noticed again that the comments are built up. I'm going to leave this for a couple of hours and I'll come back and I'll do a comment response, because at the end of the day, people take the time to comment. As I say, I get overwhelmed when it piles up and I've just not got the attention to sit and go through the comments. It's much easier for me if I just read them and reply. So, and I appreciate the comments and the input that people are giving. So, peace.